the non-meeting meeting. Welcome Frank to the board.
Thank you.
Glad you're here and look forward to working with you. So great. And you guys mind shutting that?
Oh, sure.
Zoom. The Zoom
Hey, Mike?
meeting. Yes.
Why is it not a meeting?
Because we didn't send out the agenda.
Okay.
24 hours.
Yeah, so what I propose is there any way we can turn up that volume? Yeah, and do it there with you, Mike.
Alright.
Mike, we're gonna turn up can you hear us okay?
It's breaking up a little bit, but I can get the gist of stuff, yeah.
Well, it's very faint on your end, so we're gonna turn up the volume on this side.
Okay.
It's nothing on your end, it's.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
So is the same,
Yeah, share house.
oh, sure.
Look at this.
So keep your. So, what I'd like to propose, and if it makes sense, is that, we can have I guess informal meeting and discuss any open topics. And if we have anything that we need to vote on or formally make a decision on, that we just keep a record of that, and then we could send out, an invite to a formal meeting, with this express, agenda of any motions that we may need to do, and we can do that via Zoom or whatever, and just go through that, vote on whatever we need to vote on, and then, at least advance the ball, that way. Does that seem okay with everybody?
Yeah, but the minutes should just be made part of the next meeting. So that they, if anybody had a question about them or somebody,
From today.
With that said, we need someone to take, minutes. Would anybody like to take minutes? Hello? Anybody?
I'm not taking this stuff. I'm not doing this.
Someone?
I'm
Anyone?
not gonna make the new document.
I'm not making anybody, I'm looking for volunteers. Okay. Okay, anyone? Well, I lose him. Well.
well, can you record it, just have Zoom make a summary?
Yeah, can we do it?
I can do that.
Alright, so let's do just click the AI companion.
Where's that?
Right here.
Click that.
So. We'll see the summary.
All meeting invitees, including outside.
No, just only the meeting notes.
Uh,
So you guys will receive it.
Oh, like-
then you can take a look at it. So is it on or?
Yeah, it's on, because Jen usually does do minutes from us. I just never.
Okay, so if you click that right there, not the next one over there.
I didn't really do that. So
Yeah.
that's started.
Okay, so it's doing it.
Jen must set that up.
Okay.
Yeah. Oops. Summary, yeah.
Okay. All
So
right,
why don't we do that at every meeting?
what's that?
Why don't we do that at every meeting?
We do,
Oh,
but normally we need to,
Good idea.
yeah, and that is not. That is well, no, it's just, I don't know if it's even connected, so.
It looks like it's written down.
No, it's on, it's definitely on, but I just that
I've got them up.
off the speaker.
We always do echo canceling speaker on the owl.
Yeah, but that's the microphone, go down below and click echo, no, right there.
Oh. Hi.
Alright, Mike, can you,
Is it any better?
is that any better?
I can hear pretty good, yeah.
Okay. So, that's better. Let's
Just
see.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you turn that up, see if that comes up at all?
Barely.
How about now? Can you,
Can
Mike?
you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
You're soft.
it's
I
better,
don't think it's too much.
alright, well, just we'll leave a note, someone can take a look.
Yeah, I would say.
Okay. Alright, with that said, so we're not getting, with no guests and no audience of citizens, any communications? Looks like we have a lot of communications. But they might be under. Both managers, yeah, you see, yeah, I'm just looking at the communications we have here to see if there are anything, I guess this Connecticut fleet, is that anything?
It's just a reminder that you need to wear life reserves now at all times. It's happened October 5th.
Oh, during the sample.
After September,
It's
as
October 1st through May
remain
31st.
Yeah, we don't feel very lucky.
If you have a life jacket on, it's in the boat.
Oh, anyone, adults,
No, I
kids.
think it's canoe, kayaks, paddleboard or other manually propelled vessels.
Not motor operated.
Not
Oh,
motor-
right, oh,
You're not sailboats.
you're right, canoe, kayak, stand-up paddleboard or other manual, yeah, we got it, yep, thank you.
So I sent that to Marine Patrol, so.
Okay, so they have, okay, great. So that is a communication.
One other communication
Yeah.
relative to that, I took my boat out today and as I made my last cruise at full speed, I looked. And more than 100 feet from the shore was a swimmer with no boats.
Oh,
And he had this thing between his legs, which is what I saw. I never saw his head, and then I figured out what it was, and obviously avoided him. I don't know where he left from. He was on Lake Road headed to Sleepy Hollow, but I think we need to alert people that you can't be 100 feet out. It screwed the heck out of me
yeah,
to just see something, and I had to run a little bit.
yeah,
That was either David Cohn or he has everyone swims with an open water bubble now,
Yeah,
it's pretty much normal. But at this time of year, he's kind of known for swimming out a little farther.
but
That could have been right
he
their
was
way
well
too,
beyond 100 feet.
he might have cut the corner or something,
He was well beyond.
but he was out
He
there.
was in a straight line. And I was just scared to happen.
It
You
goes-
don't want an accident.
He's usually pretty good.
Yeah, well,
That-
maybe you could mention it to him.
That reminder, if you're putting it out
We have,
in the town newsletter, Mark ought to say at any time of day. Because I have trouble with them when I'm rowing at 6 o'clock in the morning and, no mirror is gonna pick up a head or what might otherwise just look like a mooring buoy on the surface of the water, and everybody thinks somebody who's rowing has eyes in the back of their head, and we don't.
It's a good point, Henry, because initially I thought it was a buoy.
most all of the swimmers now have been using the buoys, the orange and stuff.
Yeah,
Which is something that came about in the last 5 years.
well, it's better than nothing, but still
It's much better.
You just need somebody to be with him. If he's 100 feet beyond shore.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
Or stay within 100 feet.
correct, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, cause I go over about 150 to 200 feet, and if I'm running into somebody out there, I'm just swimming against, I'm gonna have a fisherman yell at me occasionally, but not somebody who's got his head in the water.
Yeah,
So Aaron will normally ski inside or swim inside the sailboat mooring.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do.
But if that's 100 feet, is that where is it 100 feet plus the mooring?
No,
Cause that's where most people do swim, just outside the mooring.
well, it's 100 feet, 100 feet from shore, that's,
How do you spell Dave's last name?
Mine,
No, David Cohn.
Cone,
Is it
K-O-N-E or K-O, I'm not sure.
it could be COHN, that's a
Oh, no, I'm not accusing that, I don't know for sure if it was him, but he's usually,
Likely.
that's his group, there's people have different groups. And that's kind of his group.
Okay. Thank you. Any permits for tonight?
There are no permits, there are 3 permits, let me get to that. One permit has been administratively approved, you have a letter in front of you to go to the board of selectmen. I know we can't make decisions tonight, but in November, I think there are 2 issues. Which Jim Santos brought to our attention, thank you, Jim. Issue 1 is an administrative approval for something that's pretty simple to do at one seawall at 4 Sunny Slopes. There needs to be a couple of things, and there are 5 bullet points in that letter in terms of the appropriate wood the person wants to use, etc. Jim, I'll turn it over to you for issue number 2, because there was a little bit of a hiccup in terms of the town process not being followed, and I thought you had some very valid points to make in an email.
No, I mean, you know, Mary, Bob and I, we do the preliminary reviews and all, and obviously this location, the gentleman wouldn't let us go on site. And this is,
I'm sorry, you moved on to Mike Armstrong.
That's what we're talking about.
that's right.
Oh,
That's the whole.
okay, gotcha.
Points 6 and 7 in the letter.
I see, okay, so the points,
Yeah.
all 3 points are about 4 Sunny Slopes.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah, so I mean, it really shouldn't have been a very big deal, and, you know, when he wouldn't let us on after numerous discussions and his ridiculous response to, you know, to asking us to come on.
Be compensated.
Yeah, he compensated and all this other garbage, when in fact, you know, he just didn't follow the rules, but anyhow, my whole point was that, and, you know, Mary asked if we would approve it, you know, with on just the merits that we saw, and it was that it was gonna go to the board of selectmen. They either did, or at that time, or were going to do a site visit, and they were gonna approve it. So, you know, it was kind of a moot point, but, and, you know, all I had said was that, look, I would have approved this anyhow as an administrator, because it is a minor thing. And it potentially could have been something that needed to be done right away anyhow, or should have been done right away. So it all made perfect sense to be done like that. But my hiccup, or the part that annoyed me about it, is that, you know, that we're doing this, one, because, you know, we're proving it because looking back on it, okay, yeah, it probably should have been done like this. But the real reason for having to go through the board of selectmen was because of, you know, this guy went ahead and, you know, well knowing all the rules, just went ahead and did whatever he wanted, and then wouldn't let anybody on his property to do the inspections, which he also knows is the procedure, and he was told numerous times that, and he just decided the best way to handle this would be to totally, you know, oppose the process, and the guy got exactly what he wanted, and, you know, by doing that, next time, why would you do it any other way? You know what I mean? So it's just, you know, why are we doing it? Why are we doing these inspections if all they have to do is, especially if he starts bragging about, I wouldn't call for inspection, do it, don't allow on your property, then the board of selectmen will approve it for you. And everybody will start doing that. Why wouldn't they? I would do that if I was an idiot too. So I don't know how we resolve it. I don't know that it can be resolved, but I just would hate to see it become a pattern.
I don't think anybody else would do it. It's him mostly.
I could name a couple of people that we all want to see that would absolutely do.
All right, well, wait, so Henry.
Henry,
Has the work been done?
partially.
Okay, but it had been removed, and for a period of time, it looked like it was gonna stay removed. Now there is gonna be a wall put back in.
He is going to be putting, in essence, a wooden cover that links his last part of the wall to the south.
Done the packet there.
But there is a wall underneath the dock or whatever.
He had filled in the wall with, small stones. He removed
The right side.
a plant urn and part of the wall, filled in the part of the wall to the dock with stones.
I see. So where the stones are now, that used to be part of the wall too.
Used to be a giant bird.
Okay, but there is still a wall where the dock is sitting, and it's sort of really there right to the water. The other thing that we haven't reminded them about here is that it's gotta be inspected as it's done, or after it's done.
Well, that's point 5 and 6 of the letter. Based on what Jim sent to me, I rethought the letter.
I see, there are two different letters.
If you look at point 5 and 6 of the letter, I think LMAC as a whole needs to advise the Board of Selectmen this time around that this isn't gonna be tolerated. In the future, as I put it, an applicant will apply for a permit to include completed wetlands and LMAC applications, detailed site plans, site visits, reviews, approval, and inspections. And put the applicant on notice that any work conducted on the lake or in the town's lake bed, because he's been raking leaves at the wrong time of the year, requires a completed IWWC application. I think it's up to us to advise appropriately that these are actions, because this lack of permit is not the first time. It's probably the 4th or 5th time
Exactly,
that he's been doing work.
and people are starting to know that if they don't like what we say, or they don't like what the ordinance is, just go to the Board of Selectmen, and they can get it approved.
I think the Board of Selectmen just needs to hear from LMAC that this shouldn't be tolerated.
Well, there are a couple other things. One, I don't see here, I agree with 5 and 6, but I don't see anything that tells him that when he puts whatever he's gonna put in over this crushed stone, is he doing something there?
Yes, if he is
That walkway.
putting that piece of wood,
Oh,
and he's gonna turn that wood parallel to the dock, and that's what he's placing. This wood.
Well, actually,
No,
that wood was
do the
made,
site visit stuff.
that wood was made out of the wood he bought to make frame to put a bluestone over the frame on the gravel. Just as a stepping stone onto the dock. But he made it into a ramp and he said it could stay a ramp forever. If the ramp is working just fine, right onto the
You
dock.
just have to make sure it's the proper wood, etc.
so he's gonna use that brand, so this is a completed project. then.
Well, I don't know. It was not.
Well, if the.
At the moment it is.
You know, if the bluestone is going down, it needs to be inspected. I think we need to say if there's any further work on this particular project that's shown in the picture. Further inspection is required as per,
But he's not gonna let you out. He didn't let it on the first time,
well, then, I mean, it ought to be.
That's my point here.
The condition ought to be, you know, based on follow through. So if he doesn't follow through, then he's got an unpermitted use.
Long time ago, it was only the selectmen that went and looked, but then they asked us to look at things. So it's kind of a gray area, because the selectmen have the last say.
Right, well, so I.
They used to be the ones who went. and-
Dave, you're correct, if you read the
Yeah.
standard
Yeah, a
guidelines,
long time ago.
it's in the standard guidelines.
So you gotta come up with something
It
that
says Board of Selectmen
gives the-
or LMAC.
gives the selectmen authority to tell the people that
Right.
they have to allow lake management
Well,
on
I-
their property. I don't know if you'd be able to do that.
Well, we don't have to say who does the inspection, but we should say that any further work other than what's pictured here, between the dock and the shoreline requires follow-up inspection.
Well, Mary put that in this, as a recommendation.
Maybe it has to be someone assigned by the selectmen, and
That
not
may be, well,
necessarily.
we don't have to say that in the letter.
Association,
Just
lake
say it
management
has to-
doesn't have-
That's
But Henry, I think part of the problem is there was never a sufficient plan submitted on the
Correct.
application to begin with.
Correct.
When we received that first permit from Mr. Armstrong, I think there were 3 sentences with 0 pictures, 0
Nothing
drawings,
filled out, yeah.
nothing filled out. I don't even know if it was signed, maybe it was. So the only way we were able to get these photos is from the first selectman visiting the site,
Correct.
and this was after the fact the work was done.
So why
That's
aren't
part, excuse me, that's part of the reason why I said we ought to be looking over these applications and going through them a little more thorough. I've revised the actual application, I think I sent it to different.
Excellent.
So it's something we ought to look at, review, and if we all agree to. Get more information as much as we can. If you don't fill in A, B, C, and D, it's gonna be rejected when it's submitted.
So
Now, I don't know whether that'll change Mr. Armstrong's process or not, but
Well,
we ought to have more information up front. is what I'm saying.
so was there an application or not? It was.
Yeah, it was,
Initially, no.
it was very vague. It was,
After the fact, after the work had been done.
Right,
Got a
Yeah.
wetlands approved.
right, prior, but nothing prior,
nothing
Right.
right.
yeah.
He allowed wetlands to do a survey, a site visit. And wetlands did approve.
Right, and I think as a result of that,
We're going-
his expectations were that in the wetlands would give the information to the LMAC committee. And without us having to do a site visit, and that's just not our process, not the way we roll, so.
That could have happened, but I was not allowed as an LMAC member
Right,
on the premises for the wetland site visit.
The selectmen have to word it differently as who is the representative of the selectmen. Don't want to view the property. Right now, we use it as lake management.
Right.
is the lake management.
If it has to be
subcommittee-
someone different,
Yeah.
even though they may be members of lake management,
Well, Mark Walter and Steve Everett did the site visit.
yeah.
And it does say in our standard guidelines, the BOS can.
Yeah. Gotta have a little more teeth coming from the selectmen as who can be assigned to do it. If someone doesn't want lake management,
I'm not gonna.
then it has to be someone.
Yeah, let's,
I don't know.
let's
exactly.
not solve a problem that, you know, we might not have.
Yeah, I think you're right.
This is the only time.
Correct.
Yeah.
That I can remember in the decades that I've been on this board that someone has specifically said, you know, no, so. Let's, you know, I think the letter makes a lot of sense. I think, you know, you're representing, you know, your committee, so.
And.
I don't see anything,
Yeah.
nothing's outside the realm of the.
It's the usual.
Yes, so, I mean, this is an administrative approval, let's move on.
And in November, it should be less as an administrative.
Right, I agree with 5 and 6, but it still needs to say including any further work on this.
I added that with
Okay.
Henry's,
Yeah,
if I'll present it back to LMAC
Yeah.
with their.
right.
Okay,
But
that's fine. Yeah.
my point is that. I don't see a need to make a motion, I don't, this is what I'm getting.
No, that,
Here is that,
it wasn't, it was just.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that this is before us, not as a motion, this is before us. As an informal meeting, and this is what the
Right.
subcommittee is doing,
Suggest.
is, yeah, and so, like, and, you know, I don't wanna give. This or him, frankly, any more juice
Thank you.
than, you know.
I think it's not the way we wanna have it done, but I think the selectmen did the right thing this time by going out, so.
Yeah, yeah,
That it solved the problem.
okay.
Does the selectman know all the details of this? Because he should, because if he doesn't, this would just happen again.
Wanting to know if the selectmen knew all the details behind the whole project.
Yeah.
And I was briefed by Savannah.
Correct.
And
We had the
I
notes.
read the whole application.
And wetlands provided the notes too,
Right.
Hmm.
So, yes.
to me, I'm not sure I got it to you. Make sure.
Okay. All right,
But they approved it anyway.
Well, it hasn't gone before the board of selectmen.
yeah,
All that's happened is a site visit happened between the first selectman and myself.
right,
Okay, gotcha.
okay,
The other thing before we leave the subject is what we also deal with is the fact that these are guidelines, not an ordinance, there's no teeth to it.
Correct.
We could have an ordinance and have teeth to it, but it would only be focused on environmental issues. We have other safety issues and considerations we consider in the course of where docks are and whatnot, other than the ecological issues around the lake. So I think we're best staying with guidelines and just hope that this is the only operation. This gentleman at one time was on that mountain design.
okay. Any other permit?
There are two others that are still under review and frankly, I have not had the time, and I've been kind of coordinating, that subcommittee. I really need to rethink because of everything that I am doing for LMAC and wetlands. If I can continue, I will get those two done, but I am probably looking to, move off of the permit committee. And I think as we evolve as LMAC, there are many here who can take on those tasks.
Are you on inlet, in the wetlands committee too?
Yes.
Alright, so that solves the problem, kind
It didn't, Dave, because he wouldn't allow me on his property.
Well,
What can I tell you?
Yeah, but
that's a different story, because inlet
understood.
wetlands,
So
it's not an advisory.
do you want? Moving forward this, do you wanna just? See where you're at and then,
I have two more permits that I think, if reasonably, because they were sent to us as a committee together, we have to get through Bob Collins and Mike leases.
yeah,
So we can have a recommendation by November 1st or November meeting.
Okay.
So,
okay,
well then, I think I will give you, just a quick bullet point of the steps that need to be taken in order to start and finish.
Yeah.
One of the things we aren't even doing is inspection follow. And Henry makes a very good point. Those are critical things that we should be doing.
yeah,
As a subcommittee,
Which is,
inspection follow-ups.
yeah, well, we wrote those into the last ones because we needed to make sure that people then didn't vary
Right.
their plans,
But
because that
to-
was the issue.
To that, Savannah Kitchen is phenomenal and she has been great with her filing and she keeps us in the loop that way.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. So right now, it's. Rob, Jim and you,
Correct.
okay. So. You two continuing, is that,
Yeah.
make sense? Okay,
I would volunteer to be on that committee if needed.
okay, all right, and so maybe that would be a good fit to have Mike step in.
Yeah, it is good to have three, because it's best to always have two through the visit.
Yeah,
And sometimes it's not, one person can't do it, so with three, you got a better chance of getting it timely
And
done.
kudos to Jim and Bob because they've done some when I'm not available and vice versa.
yeah.
And these two will just figure it out.
So that would be the through.
So what I would like to do is just. Next month,
Correct.
have a letter from you resigning off of that committee or just an email from you, anything.
Yeah.
And then we will just put Mike on and we,
Right.
at least next month we can go down.
Right. And I'll have Mike done so he doesn't have to recuse himself.
What do we call it? Building construction?
It's permit review.
Permit review.
Yeah. Subcommittee. Okay. All right,
And wait, one last question.
yep,
Bob Miller, you mentioned that you have revised the building application. Has
Yes.
that gone anywhere? The revision?
It's done, it's just a PDF, everyone has it in their inbox, we'll just have to bring it to the agenda and vote on it.
So that will be on the next month's agenda too, November agenda.
It's very well done, Bob.
ready. All right. Planning and zoning coordination?
We submitted, what LMAC reviewed in October. And, I actually spoke to Savannah, she had reviewed it, and John, the town planner, was supposed to call me and I've been out of town, we just haven't crossed paths.
He'll be in tomorrow.
He'll be in tomorrow, okay, I'll double check with him. But what LMAC asked in terms of, the updated 20 years of data, et cetera, that, TRC put together. Plus all the strategy changes, and Henry, I know you had a couple of thoughts and changes, was submitted in that, second draft. So I'll see where John is with that, as part of the P O C D.
Do we need to be going to those meetings to follow this along?
That's why I called John.
It says
Yeah.
they're gonna be dealt with at the what is it, twice monthly, they meet twice a month? Yeah,
So how will we do that with them?
I don't know if they're breaking up the parts of it as to.
They are, they're deciding.
Well, their initial approach was, which is why we were late July 25th. But at some point, they're going to put it all together, and I'm not sure where they are with each chapter. But I'll continue to monitor that. And alerts.
Dam status,
Well, we got a full lake, it's really close, it might be a little lower now. And the water temperature's hovering around 70. Day by day it's up and down, which is pretty warm for this time of year.
yeah,
What was the temp?
70, 69 to 72 up and down, a couple afternoons it was 74, but it's moving quite a bit because it's getting cool at night and 80s almost during the day. And
Its thermocline happens around what, -55?
You mean depth?
The temperature.
Well-
Temperature marker for thermocline.
Well,
the thermal,
I'm
there
not-
doesn't seem to be a thermocline. right
yeah,
now.
there's no thermocline left. I'm not sure
Yeah.
that there's a particular temperature, but it's usually, it will start near the surface and then drop down as the water warms in the summer and
4 or
and
5 degrees.
as it disappears, it comes up.
Okay.
And if we have a calm day with 80 degrees, that's what's warming the upper.
Okay.
Right now, I've been down about 12 feet, actually yesterday. And I usually can feel, I get cold out here, but I didn't feel that at all.
What depth was your 12, your 7
weather.
degrees?
My slalom course, I had it lowered.
How deep were you measuring at 70 degrees? Was that the top of the lake?
Yeah, the top of the lake was, it's like a string this long,
Probably about 3 feet.
3 to 4, 3 feet. Yeah,
We're moving on to water quality.
yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Well, on the dam first one.
Well, no, but I mean,
Yeah.
we're now talking,
Yeah.
just it's evolved. Go ahead.
On water quality, I was gonna say, we have lost the thermocline, it is missing. And with the storms we had and the warmer weather, we had a little bit of superficial green algae on the surface, not big globulars, but they were pin-sized things suspended in the water. And I do have a question for our consultants the next time, because there is a period of time when it stops, the thermocline stops and we've had the turnover, that the surface gets a lot of slime. And I think it's from plant and zooplankton kill and so forth that floats up, but it covers my rowing shell at the water line and one morning, or every morning when it's there, it goes around, and so in a half an hour, it gets that way. And I've also noticed that all of our boats get stained at the water line more quickly, when we're past the thermocline.
The end of the year, yeah. Well, right now, the clarity, when I'm at the surface and I'm at 12 feet, it looks to be about the same, that whatever is suspended at least 12 feet down.
Yeah.
Correct.
So there's no different in color
Right.
or clarity.
Right.
I took 4 pictures of those little spirals and sent them to Carl and James at TRC. And Carl said it's likely cyanobacteria, just looking at it, the green blue chips. I would not worry about it at this point in the season. The densities will be dropping as the days get shorter. Avoid swimming if anything looks funky.
Well,
That technical term is like that, cause I'm afraid if I look that up in Google, then I might.
the two things that
It's funky with a pH.
the two things it is consistent with is, one, storms wash phosphate into the water, and warmer water helps to foster a bloom. And so we had a storm to put in 2.5 inches, wash phosphate in, floating on the surface, and the sun is out, and we're guaranteed that we'll
When
have.
they see something, yeah.
Yeah.
Carl,
Pretty
Carl, I
normal.
gotta tell you this, he complimented us as Columbia Lake and Lake Management that quote unquote, we run a tight ship. He said, I am dealing with issues because of other lakes who are not running a tight ship. And he sent this picture, and this is a lake pond in Maine, and I'll pass it around. But this is what they're dealing with in terms of algae and goose poop. And I'd like to make a compliment the Goose Patrol. I'm sorry Greg isn't here tonight. Cause I haven't seen but 2, 3, 4 since mid-August. There was one flock of 31 and Glenn Keegan got him off the lake, then I got him off the lake the next day, and Greg and Mike had been out there. So I really think that the Goose Patrol has been helping, and that does minimize the amount of phosphorus that's going in this lake.
I've seen a few flyovers too, where they kind of
Yeah,
have decided not, in their big groups too, 30, 40.
We have
Yeah,
a
those guys don't stay long.
Ready to come in and then they went over the hill.
we have a friend who observes Andover Lake, and he said we're all on Andover.
Yeah.
Oops.
I'm sorry, Mike, what did you say before?
Well, I was just saying that those geese that you see fly in, they're probably migrators, so they don't stay very long.
Yeah, could be,
Okay,
although it's not cool enough yet.
yeah, Mary,
I don't know if you guys ever
Those
watched
green
Big
masses.
Bargain Hunt, but some of those houses are like on green water. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, how could they even sell those houses? It's like,
Mary,
oh.
those green masses that were in the lake, what was the name of those things?
I'm sorry.
Those green masses that were kind of floating around the lake. Or
Oh.
in.
I just call them
August.
algae patches.
yeah,
Well, they were like, they looked like,
Oh, no, that's a different
Yeah.
algae.
that was a different thing, right?
Called green filamentous
That's what it was,
algae,
right.
and actually, unfortunately, a safe algae. It could even be good to some, but I'll tell you, it's starting to accumulate at Utley Pond. Next to the town beach, in our little cove on our downey, and are you seeing it too?
It's gone now.
Yeah, it's all
gone, it's all just.
Yeah, I was looking for it yesterday.
Yeah, and look, I've been trying to keep an eye on it and I didn't know if, like, was it something in the weather that made it go away or was it?
Probably, I mean, wind action, wave action can.
Well, you know what's interesting about it is, and we had it at Tom and Denise Egan's house, right by his dock,
Yes.
where it comes into to the lake.
And
area.
TRC actually suggested you can just take it out with a pool skimmer.
Well, what's interesting about it is it kind of adheres itself to the plant areas where the weeds are growing, the grasses. And if you look just beyond the grasses where there's none, the water goes to crystal clear again. It doesn't gradually become clear, it's like a wall.
Oh,
It looks like blue.
So we did scoop most of it out. And when it filled up half of the net and it coagulates. And
Yep.
it looks like a piece of rubber,
Yep.
almost.
yep,
It's just odd stuff, and it's hard to believe that this stuff is good for you.
it's potentially, but it's safe.
And the other thing, Nick Stevens happened to be overhearing when I was talking about Tom Egan's, and he said that him and his wife were on the lake, they saw some similar stuff kind of out in the center by the far, Erdoney Road.
Okay.
Swim area between there and the buoy. And about 2 hours later, after they came in, they both broke out in hives, very, very, a large amount of hives. But it only lasted for a couple of hours, so I wonder if there's any correlation to that.
Gosh.
You know, I mean,
No idea. Did they feel it was the green filamentous stuff? Very,
hard to say, but
or could it have been?
I don't really think
The
they.
cyno will cause.
They understand what it was.
Cyno will cause a rash.
They were.
But to Jim's point also, the stuff is just growing and growing and growing more and more and taking over more. And it seems to be just where those weeds are.
Yeah.
Once you back the boat out behind the weeds, it's gone, it's crystal clear to the bottom. It doesn't.
I suspect some of it is coming from stormwater drain. It's got so much phosphorus and.
Most likely because it's a huge, that's where it comes right
It
in.
may like the existing plants as a substrate. You know,
Right.
it's like a hash and
I'm sure that's why
lines, and it's closer to the light, and all of our curly leaf pondweed is breaking off now and drifting around as part of the dating action, and unfortunately, it's probably spreading seeds in the process of its drift. So if you see some floating, it's probably, it's different than harvesting, but a good idea to get it out, let it dry out on ground rather than float around and spread seed.
Through transportation.
Yeah, I want, that was water quality. I did want to say something on fish.
Can I add something about water?
Yeah.
I participated in two online sessions, one with Canisius Lake out in the western lakes and Baylor Lake. Which both had problems with cyanobacteria. The level of discussion changes dramatically when you have these types of health issues start cropping up. And so it almost, I'm looking at right now for us, this is a chance to have some real thoughtful conversation about how do we address this and prevent this. Once you get to that stage, it's a totally different conversation and you're playing defense the whole time. So I guess it's just a word of warning for us is that let's use this time well. Wisely.
I think part of our agenda minutes has something about, what do we call it, a planning process to be prepared. Right now, we're in the preventative mode to the best of our ability, and yet, we have to realize that 85% of the phosphorus coming into this lake, now TRC is saying versus 25 years ago, is from stormwater. And what is it we can do about stormwater drainage? Carl, TRC does, Canisius Lake, and explained to me the difference of Canisius and us is the industrial development that is spilling into that lake. Thank God we don't have that.
They have a lot of farms.
They do have, it's agriculture and it's industrial.
Corporate farms.
How large is the watershed? Because ours is real small. There's two.
You know, I'd have to look. I mean, we just were having a conversation.
We're 4-1. I mean, Hopi Fog is like 20-1. So
Yeah,
that-
we're actually
that's right.
9-1, I think, and we're in good shape.
yeah,
We have a good watershed from that perspective in terms of addressing that.
I think the question is also, maybe a lot of people that aren't that familiar with it is, should people on the lake be touching it or getting rid of it? Or no? What's the right thing to do?
Well,
If you leave it, does it get worse? If you don't, I mean, it's just a natural effect.
we should be TRC about it early, and because we went over to Egan's, is it the Egan's
Yeah.
by Hennepin?
Yes.
That pipe back from Hennepin,
Yes.
he said, just, you can, if it's uncomfortable for you, you can skim it out, it's not gonna be an issue on it.
But I think to Bob's point, I think we should, this winter, we should think about some preventative and suggestions, because, we did that quote test of cutting it manually, cutting the pondweed
pondweed,
manually before July 15th.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see those areas, if they come back thicker or not, you know what I mean? Because that might be an option we can give people to preventive in their areas. Get out there in early July and start cutting these things. You know what I mean? If it worked, if it didn't work and it gets worse, then we want to back off it, obviously, but also if this other stuff shows up, and maybe we could pass it out through the Lake Association, and through whatever area avenues here, just so the lakefront owners have some answers to do something if they want.
We are in partnership with Savannah Kitchen, the wetlands agent on this. She actually did, and I can send it to all LMAC members, a synopsis of what happened this year, which was very preliminary, it was a pilot program. And what the outcomes were, which were mostly pro, that we should probably be looking at this at a finite time when seeds don't. And get it, at least cut it off and cut it down until, it probably won't grow back until August, September. And so you could have 8 to 12 weeks of hopefully, if you.
I did it in front of my, it was really thick in front of my dock,
Right.
the whole year, and I cut a ton of it out, and
Yeah.
huge piles, I piled on my dock, let it dry and then threw it away, and it virtually didn't come back.
It didn't?
I had a few little things, but almost
That's
all of
great
it stayed
news.
away. Now, I don't know if it's gonna be worse next year or not, but, you
Yeah.
know, I'll know then.
But
But
did you cut it early?
I cut it in early July.
Yeah,
How
so.
deep
that's
was the
good
water
part.
where you cut it?
It
Oh, it
should,
was full, the lake was full.
No, but what I mean is, not, was it
Oh,
5 feet of water?
The weeds, yeah, the end of my dock.
5 to 8 feet
No,
of water?
It's about.
Yeah.
About
I can
It
notice
seems to
it,
be a specific
3
depth,
to 4
because
feet.
it's not close to our dock, and we're like 5 feet.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure that out, Dave, I mean, I've
don't know,
kayaked around more times and talked to TRC about it. There's no method yet. Because it can be in 4 feet of water, 5 feet of
Yeah.
water, 12 feet of water, so I've measured it.
It is,
Yeah.
even swimming past your dock.
Yeah, right up.
It starts to hit you at the end of the summer.
It's pretty deep right there, that's the crazy.
That's deep
It's
there,
about
yeah,
8
that's-
feet,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know, even and around my raft there, I mean, it's pretty, I end up cutting a lot of that too and
Yeah.
getting.
One of the
But if you
things,
get beyond the raft, all of a
Yeah, we
sudden,
haven't cut anything, it's far enough that it's not.
I just went with
So-
machete and with it.
one of the things TRC mentioned, or I wanna run by TRC is. Where I've seen really prevalent, except one area on Erdoney, there's stormwater drain. Really prevalent growth of the pond weed.
We had the two coming
There's
less
stormwater.
years.
And remember what your place looked like when we had that
Oh, yeah.
driving rain.
Yeah, I'd like to suggest we put under old business a topic for preparation of advisory on aquatic plant control. And that we focus on having something ready to go out in April.
Right.
Educational, you know, the process may follow actually happening in May, June, or July, but to
Right.
get people
Yeah.
looking to us for information as opposed to
some-
thinking they're gonna do their own thing.
So develop a subcommittee for that.
Subcommittee, yeah, we can do that at the next meeting, but, you know, or we can just, work as a unit to get, I don't think it's gonna take a lot based on.
I think
Yeah,
we
we'll
need
get
to include Savannah Kitchen.
Yes, correct, yeah.
That's a good
She's,
idea.
she's terrific on this stuff.
And I'll just say, like, and maybe I did it too late, because pulling it out was impossible, didn't work, you break halfway up, they
That
break the thing,
No.
so your hand, you
Well,
can't pull it out. Maybe early on you could when it's very, very young, but I ended up just cutting it with a sickle, I went
Yeah.
underwater.
You have to,
I cut
take
it
it
right,
out.
you know, a couple inches from the ground, and it
It's
just.
actually on water.
So, okay,
So check your drawdown where you think it is.
got it.
Yeah,
In
that's okay.
depth.
This could be a meeting in itself.
Yeah.
So, and I appreciate everybody's, but there's a great suggestion here. Would you like to lead that?
No, I'll be on it.
Are you be on it? Okay.
Yeah.
So is there anybody else who'd be
I think,
interested?
well, I think we should get, Greg has done a lot,
Yeah,
in his pond on this as well, and he
Yeah.
let
it's fine,
price
you're great.
approvals and so forth, so I think let's wait until next meeting
Well-
and do that, cause there'll be plenty of time to pull it together.
What I'd like to suggest is that it's a great idea, you also have some interest, maybe
Right.
reach out to Greg. By next meeting, if we could have a group of, you know, interested
Right.
members, then at least we can just kick it off from there.
Correct.
Right, so,
And meeting them on wetlands, I'm already working with Savannah on it.
okay, so we have two. We'll talk with Greg and anybody else who's interested in being on that subcommittee. You can reach out to Mary and Henry, and we could start to take action, you know, over the winter. And next meeting, we'll be able to form a formal subcommittee. Okay, before we move on, the dam status, you had
Yeah, we found a concern when we did our safety inspection with engineering firm on our spillway.
okay,
So what's happening is, and this was noted by Dave early on, we told them about it and they saw it happen. Where the water coming down the spillway was not making it to the end of the spillway. It's vanishing between the cracks, because the spillway is sections of concrete. And so in between two sections, the water was going underground.
That's one.
The concern is, and we're about to send a PO to have this work done by the engineering firm. They're going to do bore drillings under the spillway in the dam to make sure there's not any large pockets that have developed because of this undermining. Because that could endanger the integrity of the dam.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the $8,000 bill that they're going to monitor, this company, the engineering firm is gonna hire to do this analysis and then get back to us.
Awesome. How many are they gonna do? How many borings?
I don't know.
8,000.
I have a proposal, I haven't read it, I just got it.
Thank you, Dave.
I almost think like an expert.
I thought water was coming up, so it must be going under and then coming back up, yeah, all right.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause it's
exactly.
going down, it's going somewhere, so it's.
Okay.
Don't need an earthen dam.
No, no, that's, so great call on that and, look forward to hearing what they have to say, so. Okay, fishing, you had
Yes.
something on fishing?
I happened to observe in September, after we don't longer have any marine patrol. Somebody who had, a sophisticated fisherman who had launched a, pedal, kayak with, lots of fishing equipment and so forth on it, and happened to ask, rec department whether they'd seen it get launched and whether they'd inspected it. And they said, well, they saw it out there, but they hadn't, inspected it or hadn't seen it launched. And I looked at the signage down there, there's nothing, no signage down there that says that every boat, needs to be inspected. And that's the case. Now, they need to be inspected when somebody's there, between, start of the town business and the town business. I don't know, we're not gonna be able to police or control people putting things in early in the morning or in the evening, but I think we need to have some kind of, sign down there indicating that, between, when the town's open for business, you gotta knock on the rec department door and have your boat inspected or whatever. And if there is nobody there, here's how you do a self-inspection. So.
If they have a key. Well, are you thinking they just went around?
Kayaks,
Yeah,
They carry it around.
Yeah, it's a kayak, so I mean.
Alright.
yeah, all you gotta do is-
Yeah,
He-
okay.
He's getting it off the top of his car
Yeah,
and
yeah.
putting it
Dropping it
in the water.
Yeah.
Or even if you get one of these, we've had fishermen out there before in Florida. They're inflatables, it's like a big inner tube and they put their feet into waders, and chances are, those people are not townspeople. They're just coming here to fish, because it's off season and they know nobody's there. And so it also increases the risk that they were somewhere else just before they came.
Well, that, and those kayaks also have a lot of, intricate, cavities and.
Yeah, right, there's a cavity that holds the fishing pole, there's
But also up underneath, so,
Yeah.
I mean, a weed could easily get
Yeah.
attached to that, so, yeah, that would be.
So, I think that's a winter thing, but I do think we need to.
Oh, together a sign.
Yeah, I would know launch signage is needed, it's just that all watercraft being launched must be inspected.
Yeah, cause it's, better than caution milfoil sign.
And to the extent, I think also Jake and his assistant, to the extent that they see on the camera, somebody's out there putting
They got.
something off the top of their car, they gotta, get out and deal with it. There's not just motorboats.
Right, yep, okay. Access, safety and regulation. Looks like we have some, stats here. For July, Marine Patrol. Yeah, Marine Patrol. And,
I had one question on the submerged mooring. as to where it was. Probably about 8-1 was about the time that it might have been coming to the surface, but I had seen one over off of, Woodland Terrace, several times rowing, out about 200 feet. And it was down about 18 inches, and it clearly was something that the ice had carried out at, one point, and I went once to try to find it again so I could mark it with something floating on the surface, but I couldn't find it. And I decided, well, as soon as we start letting the water down, it'll pop up and we'll get it out of there, but that may, wherever that was.
This was Walter, was the Walter insisted it wasn't submerged, but somebody,
No, it wasn't submerged, they got run over and the guy didn't see it.
Rob Goodwin hit it, he
Yeah,
claimed, and then somebody else following Rob
yeah.
cut it. And Rob, Walter was upset, he came to my house to ask what I knew about it. And, you know, cause he wanted to get the mooring back and he didn't know who would.
Walter found the 2 cinder blocks that were attached, but he never found the surface boot.
Right. I don't know what happened.
Well, the one that I know was submerged in the area of the King.
Was it a white
Well,
one with,
Walter's right next
that's
to it.
exactly the spot, was it white with a blue stripe, you couldn't tell?
Yeah, I can see it was white anyway,
Yeah,
underneath.
on the top, that's what you'd see, yeah.
So it may have been,
Might have been,
okay,
yeah.
well, I'm gonna keep an eye on that
Yeah,
area as the water goes down, okay.
thank you. And I'm embarrassed to admit that I was one of the stops. In August, September, starboard side pickup of down skier education, that was me.
What is that? You can't.
You're supposed to turn to port when a skier falls. Emily's Law or something.
Right.
That was not.
Turn on the driver's side, so you don't.
So you don't run over.
Yes,
Here.
steering wheel's on that side.
So what do you do if your steering wheel's on the
I
other
think
side?
the key is whichever side you're looking at the water, it's how you turn. So what if your ladder's on the left side, like my boat? I don't really.
Well, the purpose is to be able to have somebody see the down skier.
No, you.
So the driver has an eye on the skier, so whenever.
You're always supposed to have your eye
To the side of the boat where the wheel is.
So you always,
So you
have
always-
a decision.
But like on my boat,
Okay.
my boat's, it's on the
No.
starboard side.
You're supposed to go
We should-
starboard.
Yeah, it's like,
Book tomorrow. you start.
yeah, so,
You're supposed to turn
but
starboard.
it says starboard side pickup.
Yeah, so if your steering wheel's on the starboard side, I'm picking up on the starboard side.
Yeah, oh, okay.
I
So in other words, they
must
picked
have-
up on the port side and they didn't follow the starboard side. Make sure,
It was Tom, and he was right in the cove when it happened, and then he said I took too long to circle back to get the skier stuff. I appreciate it, I didn't know about that law, so that was good to know.
And what's good is, I see one of the stops here is good intent.
Yeah, what's the?
Obeying all the rules.
maybe they gave him an attaboy.
Alright. Thanks, Gerald.
was a wildlife violation, somebody ran over a duck or something?
What's that?
Where's that?
It says wildlife violation.
Yeah, I saw that. Wildlife violations.
Maybe
We're
they-
chasing the geese, I don't know.
Well,
No,
during molting season, that did happen,
Oh,
and
I
they
see.
had to stop someone.
That's probably what that is.
That,
Okay. Anything else for,
Yeah, on the second one there for August to September. It looked like there was $100 fine issued on something.
Yes,
yeah,
What was that?
that was 4 repeated violations of ignoring our ordinances, so.
and just,
And the board of selectmen determined $100 fine.
Submitted. But
What-
which ordinance, was it the same or more than one?
If
someone kept doing it over.
If you have the paper, they list each violation in the letter I sent out.
Yeah.
That Marine Patrol gave you.
But we have, I don't know if this is that, Mark, but we do not infrequently see people out in motorboats after 10. I've never, when growing up, nobody ever did that, hold on, crap,
I
and
think-
now it's
I think
not.
what's needed, really in this winter time, a better these are the rules and regulations of the lake. And somewhere in there, it has to state that your access to the lake of your watercraft can be denied by the board of selectmen for repeated violations of our ordinance.
Should be.
But there has to be some meat that you know that if you intentionally violate our rules, you could not, you might lose your privilege.
So can we change, not the town ordinance, the regulation to add an enforcement? Cause $100 is,
I don't know, we can
No, we
look
go
at
up
that,
to-
but I think there is something in there about repeat violations now.
say again,
I think there is something in there about repeat
violation.
violations now, so we
I'll have to
have to
look
look to see what it is, but at one point we talked about, you know, requiring the boat to be removed, and everybody thought that that was a
Just
little
too much.
bit too
Yeah.
draconian.
Right.
But, you know, to, be permitted to be, launched next year, might be good, or at least that you had to have paid all outstanding fines before you're allowed to launch.
Let's say you have a
next
habit of going out
Because-
after 10 and partying music loud, like everybody else.
year.
Which
Yeah,
is
but the
what,
problem
That
is,
might be a reason for,
yeah,
yeah, but you still have to have somebody there and enforcing it to do that.
right, you have to have a proof that it happened, proof which boat it is. You're not gonna have marine patrol on it 11 at night.
yeah, but there's only one boat like that on the
Right,
lake.
so that-
When we put our spotlight on it, it's pretty clear who it was.
there's more than one.
My point is that if you have enough evidence and that's given to my office, I could submit a letter saying.
Correct.
This is what was reported, this is the potential you're facing if you wanna continue this behavior.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, and just the idea that people are, I mean, of course, I couldn't see if there are beer cans in their hands or not, but one could assume that it's
Drinking
young
honestly.
people and they're out there drinking, and if somebody ever fell off the boat or God forbid were hurt, I mean, that would just be. And who's gonna go help them at that hour of the night, you know? Except those of us who are sitting there with our spotlights trying to figure out what they're doing. I mean, we just don't want somebody to get hurt.
Thank you, Mike.
But it says on this, between October 1st and March 31st. From 6 p.m. to 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. That
First
was,
after 6 p.m. So
Well,
I
that's-
can't have a little bit late tonight.
No,
after
we've
6 p.m.
changed that, it's not,
I tried to change that, I brought it up a couple times and.
Oh, no,
everyone said it's a 2 week period.
no, October 1 and March 31, it is. It is.
So there shouldn't be any boats on the lake today after 6 p.m. is what you're telling me.
Yeah. But we need to check that, we need to check the ordinance, because I thought.
That's what we need to make sure.
I thought we may have.
It's a party.
Kind of cold right now, but.
Yeah.
It might be a
I'm
little
wondering if
rough.
I should say October 31st, because that's kind of officially the drawdown, right?
Well, we also, yeah, November,
This year.
but sometimes it's October 15th.
Now, well, I think we had,
And you know,
What is it this year? I forget, what is it this year?
and
November 1st.
Oh, okay.
I don't think section 190-12 was part of our new ordinance, so this
This could just be a typo from.
Well, at least, no, I think this is.
No, that's how it is, that's the original ordinance.
I
right
think
there.
this is citing the original ordinance, not the new ordinance. The new ordinance may talk about something on Sunset, but this is part of one of the jobs that I'm taking on with the.
Okay, well, no,
The ordinance committee is we've gotta go back
no,
and clean up the existing ordinances where it was, to remove the stuff that's been, revised and put into the new ordinance.
okay,
So I'll look at that, and make sure we get that straight, and if we need to make a change, we should recommend one.
Yeah.
Because it seems to me from, October, on, it ought to be sunset.
Yeah.
And go from there, sunset.
I think it should be the same as the rest of the year, honestly. That's my opinion.
10 p.m.
Why not? It should, you know, it's only a 2 week period, sunsets at, 6:30. Now they say you can't go on it late, that wouldn't be much of a change.
Well, I make their. I agree.
I mean, that's from
People stay out.
that's from like the sixties or someone, when someone didn't want people on the lake or something, I don't know where that came from.
Okay. So we'll look at that.
Yeah.
All right, watershed management plan.
So we talked about this at the last meeting, but you weren't there, Mike, so we tabled the discussion. To summarize, I'm, Mary and I met with Jeff Schifrin, who chaired the task force the last time we went through this process to create the original 1998 watershed management plan. And his suggestion, which I thought made a lot of sense, was basically to reconstitute that task force. So it wouldn't fall solely on the shoulders of LMAC to do this. He felt it was important to include all of their stakeholders as they had done this last time. Which would include, in addition to LMAC, inland wetlands, the Conservation Commission, Planning and Zoning, the Board of Selectmen actually had somebody on the task force, the town sanitarian, the town planner,
DRC.
inland wetlands agent, and our consultants who,
We should have the agriculture committee.
I said, conservation agriculture.
Oh,
Did you say should or should?
Should, you
Yeah.
mentioned conservation, but.
It's just, well, it's agriculture, conservation agriculture.
They put it together.
And,
This one, yeah.
anyway, in the case of the 1998 watershed management plan. Bob Portman, who was the late consultant, at that time. Drafted the report. And I think we should, well, I think, but I would recommend that we have TRC serve in that capacity here. So,
okay,
and previously, my LMAC chaired that task force, the chair of LMAC chaired the task force. So
okay,
I think from a titular point of view, it would make sense for you to chair it.
okay.
Which was not to say you won't get a lot of help, but, that kind of made sense to me.
And what's our goal to? This is the revision of that.
To, I would
From a
say,
date standpoint, what's the timing?
I don't have anything
I mean, it hasn't been done since that period of time, so what we wanna do is review what was done, how there's some kind of analysis looking at, how did this perform? Where might it need to be, improved or changed?
Yeah,
And, lots of different inputs, or thoughts or ideas that may come up that then need a lot of data gathering. And so, it's not something that should be just allowed to sit and, become a, not focused on, but there doesn't necessarily need to be a deadline. I think the first one was a couple of years. I don't think the review should be a couple of years.
Yeah, it was actually 3, it started in 95 and they published the report in 98.
You could, 12 to 18 months, I think
In 2000.
I think it would be a good idea to kind of have a target date and then have it be revisited to see whether an extension is needed or something like that.
So basically, I would see it as just 2 parts to it, one reviewing. What was in the plan, what was done, what was successful, what worked and what didn't. I think the main, if you would agree, Henry, the main feature of that plan was the nutrient allocation. Which we've already been asked, as you've heard already from planning and zoning, to kind of assess. Well, how has that actually worked? And then the other part is going forward, which the recommendations be, should they stay the same, should there be different ones, new ones? To Mary's point, the TRC saying 85% of our phosphorus is coming from stormwater runoff. back then, the big concern was septic systems.
Mhm.
And I think the picture has changed since then, so the focus probably needs to
Yeah,
change.
well, the report may well come back and say, continue with the nutrient allocation plan, adopt a mandatory, septic pump out inspection and thing, and, deal with stormwater runoff on the follow schedule or something like that.
So I proposed a motion, because I'm gonna give this to you,
Yeah.
it's an email I sent to you whenever I sent it.
Yeah.
To make to the BOS to propose, but I think their first question is gonna be, so what's this gonna cost if TRC's writing the report, so I'm not quite sure, Mary, how we get at that. It's a fair question, and we should have some sense of. Is that a time of materials, or is there, would it be a flat contract? I
Well, I
don't.
think the problem is you really can't tell because you don't know what additional data gathering may be prudent to do. So I think it has to be open-ended. I think it could be Carl saying, well, for me to attend one meeting a month and to have 2 or 3 hours for follow-up, this is the baseline. And from there, it's gonna be whatever, is recommended and the selectmen and endorse. And largely, I think the funding is gonna come out of the budget process for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, relative to the data, and Carl was on Zoom, was it last one or the month before? I can't even remember.
Before.
Whatever. Carl has been on Zoom for planning and zoning as well as this. They had accumulated all of the data to date in, obviously 2025 will be a new edition. And provided when we did the POCD planning of the conservation and development, an awful lot of that already. And the consulting fee for that has been paid for, this was paid for a couple of weeks ago. It was
Well, it was,
4,000.
yeah, so it was manageable then.
Yeah, it's gonna show
Within our
exactly-
budgets.
That's gonna show exactly what you're talking about, Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a lot of the data. The huge change that Carl spoke of was the technology back then was different than the technology to assess where is all this phosphorus coming from. And back then, the emphasis showed septic systems. Now, with the newer technology and how they're doing it, the emphasis clearly has switched to stormwater drainage, of which 85%, and then it got to 92 with groundwater. I think 92% of our issues are stormwater related. And yes, septic systems is a part of this, I think it was way down at the bottom, when 85% obviously, so.
Our nutrient allocation plan is aimed at stormwater too, but the concept was, that's just aimed at domestic stormwater as opposed to drainage from Utley and drainage from the roads and so.
Correct. So
That's the ABC zone.
Yeah. Okay. All right, well, let's chew on this for a little bit, and revisit it for next, yeah,
since we put motion.
yeah, we can motion anyway. I'm sorry, did that just happen? No, go to the side. You're talking. All right.
I'm the only one who knows, right?
Thank you. I see this is with you. And stormwater runoff infrastructure. Anything, I mean, we're kind of just talking.
Yeah,
about it a little bit.
just-
Yeah,
yes,
so,
yeah.
budget review.
We're gonna need them.
Okay.
We need more for the.
No, we're gonna need one, we're gonna be starting the budget process at the end of fall of next year. So
Oh, my God,
we need to
all right.
start thinking about
Okay.
where we are. I hadn't looked tonight or where we are year to date, so I'm not sure.
And that's what we gotta put this, the water good management plan.
It's gotta be in there.
In the top of that budget.
Discussion, we can discuss it, whatever, have a preliminary.
So, alright, so I guess, you know, it's always good to know how did we do with our budget last year, or this year.
I'll start
You know,
pulling all that together
Yeah.
for the November meeting.
so we can, yeah,
We'll look and
yeah,
start thinking about like
it raises for everybody.
this, and you know, we probably need to ask TRC, as you were mentioning,
Yeah,
how they put together a proposal for that.
I'll have a preliminary discussion, I'll copy you, any emails.
Okay.
A dam repair, if any comes out of the Columbia town budget, right?
It's already,
Innocent
it's
clarification.
in the public works budget right now, he's got the money.
Oh, he does.
I'd like to jump back to, enforcement again for a moment. You went to $100 citation, did it get paid?
The first time I issued a citation, it did get paid right away, this one, I don't think I've seen
Same person?
it, no different.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me.
Well, keep us abreast of that too,
Yeah.
because we wanna know how that goes.
What recourse does the town have?
We have a election agency, we can send it to.
Yeah, but you know, that's why I'm thinking also we could make it pay at the time you wanna launch
Yeah.
next year.
And you paid
Yeah, if
fine.
you haven't paid, and maybe at that point it's doubled or something, you know, or whatever.
They launched on the property then.
Good point.
Yeah,
How they just launched from their property now.
now, well, it'd be
Not
hard to
that,
do.
if you're gonna get a crane, cost you more than that.
No, that's their properties.
Well, I know there's some. Just saying.
Tim does
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, only when I did. I'm kidding.
Friends and family.
That's a fair, that's what
Alright,
I like that.
so that's our normal agenda, is there any other items that we wanna look at for this evening?
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
last month we talked about a couple of jet boat lifts. Anything addressed on those?
Oh, yeah, I gave the address of the one, Holly Wells, I don't know, or it wasn't, it's the camp next to.
Tom Hart's
The one thing that I.
You're talking about like the jet ski lifts, right?
Yeah.
The float on jet ski.
Yeah, float on, yeah.
Yeah.
Drive up.
Yeah.
I'd like to comment on that. We've had problems with them before, they haven't really paid attention to the regulations. They are a group of cousins that share the same place now. At one point, they were reasonably influential with the church camp and friendly for there, so there was some benefit from cultivating good relations. The other thing to recognize is that they're probably the only property left on the lake that could be subdivided and create another lakefront lot. So they have a large space and
You mean a
I
second
think,
dock?
pardon?
You mean a second dock because of the front?
Well, they could even create a second property and have 4 docks, okay? And so all I'm saying is that I think it's prime for us to listen to whatever they had to say and to make an exception because of the frontage and the control of the area and let them have 2 lifts based on all of that. But they didn't make an application and they didn't come in. And so,
Yeah, and they're not the only ones, Henry.
They're not,
They're not the only ones.
there's 2 other.
But the same thing.
there are, okay, I thought that, well, for that one. You know.
Well, for that one, it was
why
the
I-
issue of maybe the 2
Handling
lifts.
this alert.
Treating someone different.
Well,
I think,
Well, we need to.
that's a whole nother conversation, I don't know that we're gonna have right now.
I agree.
I'm sorry, Mike, I missed what you said.
Yeah, that one there that Henry's talking about did have the issue because it's a double lift. But there's others too that had lifts on the water and they're legal, they look good, but they didn't take a permit for them. So that's an issue in itself.
Okay, Well,
They have 175 feet of footage on one.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know if it's a separate lot,
It doesn't make sense.
I think.
Oh, well, it isn't, it hasn't been subdivided.
I just have to say jet skis are kind of susceptible to sinking.
Oh, two.
I don't have-
You're right.
But if I had a jet ski, I wouldn't mind about it. Because they sink. Yeah.
Well, I have no issue with lifts,
Yeah.
permits, and is it
Right.
appropriate by our
Yeah.
standard guidelines, the town standard? guidelines?
We allow them, we would allow them, right? If they follow the guidelines. We
Yeah.
have, we have.
That
we
one
have a
doesn't
parade
follow the
for
guidelines, but
Since it's 286, so it is.
okay, so we'll just leave this as open for right now and we can review it a little.
Can we note,
Since.
note it, so we
official
don't
tonight,
forget about it again?
Keep it out, written note.
Yeah, it's, well. We need to look at the. The old, cause I think it was on the old agenda, which this is not. I think we have to see the last agenda.
I think it's on there.
I sent in that address and I think, or Downey Roads, but I didn't have the Lake Road address, there were 3 on them. But
Okay,
I'll find the email recently.
okay. Okay. Very good, alright, anything else? Your. I'll entertain a motion.
We can't.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
Gotta go.
Peace out. Bye. Alright. Alright, see you, Mike. Have a good
Thanks.
night.
Good night.